There are times when all of us need to stand up to danger.
Sparks, look out!
I can't, Ignitus. I just learned what I am.
You can, Spyro. You can. You are a purple dragon. A very special creature.
But right now, you must fight.
Hello everyone, this is Godzilla Wolf 1 and I am back with another Legend of Spyro live stream. Hello everyone, this is just making sure that is working. We should be heading into like the final section of levels. In fact, there's a non-zero chance of us actually ending this tonight, which would be cool. But we'll be starting shortly. Just let me message this out.
What is it?
Exactly what I feared. This is what Cinder has done. There are times when all of us need to stand up to danger.
Sparks, look out!
I can't, Ignitus.
But yes, there's a very real possibility we're going to finish this tonight, which would be fun.
Spyro. You can.
As for what we'll do after that, I'm still kind of trying to decide that.
Very special.
Why is there being such slowdown there? Let me
But right now, you
message
must
this out, and then we'll... Because all that's left is Cinder's... is raiding Cinder's lair in the final boss.
It's time to unleash the true dragon within.
Also, reminder, Tales from My Mother's Childhood, Volumes 1 through 4 are available on Amazon. If you want to check out the adventures of a young woman growing up in 1950s and 60s Appalachia. But
This is what Cinder has
let
done.
me just
There are times when
use Task
all of
Manager
us
here to
need
see if anything's
stand up
active
to
in the background.
danger.
It's causing slowdown because
I can't,
that
Ignitus.
is
I
annoying.
just
Okay,
learned what I am.
why is there
You can,
Xbox stuff
Spyro.
on
You
my
can.
Microsoft Edge?
You
You
are
do
a
not need to
purple
on.
dragon. A very special creature.
Why does Xbox
right
stuff
now,
activate
you
in the
must
background of my computer? That is always something that annoys me. I don't even have anything Microsoft related on here. So can things just stop doing that?
It's time to unleash the true dragon
Okay.
within.
Okay, that seems to have solved the issue. Okay, can you see everything now?
Time to unleash the true dragon within.
Okay. Everything should be fine now. Can you see everything now? Okay. So we're good. Volumes 1 through 3. Yeah, that's what's supposed to be on there. Sorry if I said 4. 4 is in process, but I'm currently doing a color revision, which should be up soon.
Exactly what I feared.
Darn it. We'll see when we get there.
This is what sin
Because
has
I
done.
don't have anything particularly
There are times when
important
all of us need to stand up to
tonight, so
danger.
maybe. But let's get this party started because we're 5 minutes post start. We have just escaped from Cinder with Terrador. Also, Riley is here. She is being small. She's being a small cat. We'll see when we get there. Okay, so we're going to have to run through Cinder again. Okay. This is fine. I thought it would have saved, but whatever. This is not a very long section. I do appreciate this. Because it highlights just how dangerous Cinder actually is. Right? No. Get away from that. She's trying to get into things she shouldn't because she's a cat. Okay. But, yeah, this does highlight just how dangerous Cinder's supposed to be, given she's the big bad that supposedly turned the entire tide of the world just by existing. So that is a necessary thing to show off how powerful she is. Because all Spyro can do at this point is run. He does not stand a chance if he was turned straight behind. Okay, and there we go. I forget how to skip the cutscene. I do like Cinder's theme song. Cinder has a theme song.
We've got to find them. Help Ignitus.
They're gone, Spyro. There's nothing we can do.
I don't care. Ignitus wouldn't leave me.
Spyro, he's right.
I'm right? Oh my god, that's a first.
Yes. You'd never find them in this mess. And you're not ready to face Cinder yet. Time to fight will come, but it is not now.
I guess you're right. Let's go.
Okay. So, I had to rewatch that cutscene because I don't know why it did that. It shouldn't have done that, but oh well, it's a cool scene.
It's my fault. I failed Ignitus when he needed me most. It's just that the sight of Cinder so close just...
Made your heart stop? Put ice in your veins? Scared the crud out of you?
Yeah, something like that.
All warriors feel fear at one time or another, Spyro. There's no shame in that.
Yes, it's a proven scientific fact that the quotient between adrenaline and trepidation...
Voltaire, please. I believe our good friend here was trying to make a point.
Thank you, Cyril. What I was going to say is that all warriors feel fear, Spyro, but only the most valiant among us can face that fear and master it. From what I saw of you on Munitions Forge, you are one such warrior.
I remember Powerpuff Girls saying,
Dragon,
courage isn't
now
not
is the
being
time to
afraid,
complete your training.
it's doing
Now is the
something
time to
despite being
face your fear.
afraid. I can't remember the exact line off the top of my head.
Am I the only
Also,
one
I
still
love that he
petrified?
just has a mace as a tail. That's kind of cool.
Spyro, come here.
Honestly, Pterodor's always been my favorite of the Guardians. We're going to get burst powers now.
The wind, the world itself, is now within your grasp. Let's begin.
Interesting, at one point in production, I believe there was going to be a Water Guardian as well. Either that or they originally were going to have water instead of ice. We know that water and wind dragons exist, especially wind, because Cinder's natural form would be a wind dragon. Okay.
Always be gracious in victory, Spyro.
Hey, Trooper, glad you can make it.
There might be hope for you yet, young dragon.
Over here.
Throw an earth bomb at the dummies. Stay within the elemental. Okay, Betrayation, Victory, and Unconditional Surrender are typically just for the history books. You want your new subjects to not rebel on you. So yes, be gracious in victory. Unconditional Surrender is just there for the history books.
Like
Yeah, that's partially one of the causes of World War II.
This way, oh my.
Yeah, if they'd not done as much as they did to Germany, World War II might not have happened. Throw an earth bomb at the fleeing dummies and aerial melee them when they are caught. Wind. Okay. Also, I found something out interesting that's kind of disturbing. The Shell Gasoline Company is responsible for multiple dictators coming into power. I did not know that. One more. There we go. Germany was excited enough to be outraged, but not enough to be reduced to a non-power. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, there's a video on. I saw a video earlier about it, but yeah, Shell Gasoline, the only humanity line in the Hindenburg film, was recorded years after the fact. Did not know that. But yeah, and yes, that includes what happened in World War II, because turns out their I think it was their current chief operating officer, was bankrolling the, I don't know if YouTube will be angry with me if I say the name. National Democratic you know what it is. You know the thing. But they were kind of bankrolling that party until they came into power, and their CEO actually got a state funeral out of it. So, and they're still doing it. Yeah, Shell Gasoline the Shell Oil Company, not particularly nice. Hey, now we get to storm the castle. But yeah, you do want to be gracious in victory for obvious reasons. Yeah, Earth is a really powerful element. It's not my absolute favorite. I do like Terra.
But we've got to get moving here. Oh, Cyril is terribly obnoxious, but in this case, he happens to be right, Terrador. Ignitus is the final.
I'm annoyed there is no build-up on the twist with Cinder. Sort of there is.
All be done for.
I know. When I was on Munitions Forge, I overheard the conductor say that Cinder's final preparations would take place at her lair, where she lives in solitude among the clouds and the towers. I am certain that's where she's taken Ignitus.
One thing to remember is this game
I'd give anything to go with
is somewhat incomplete due to budget problems.
Last of my will. I fear my fighting days are over.
Every generation must pass the torch to the next, Terrador. Our time is done.
Yes, it is Spyro's time to shine. Now go to it, young dragon.
Yes, sir.
Wow, you guys make even me want to face Cinder. Did I say that out loud?
I mean, you can read between the lines and figure it out. But yeah, there were meant to be, like, this was meant to be longer. Like, this game was meant to have more cutscenes and be longer, and there's stuff on the cutting room floor due to Activision deciding.
Lair is where hope goes to die, Spyro. A dark, foreboding place in which Cinder broods and skulks and plans her next assault. You must make your way to her fortress, where I'm sure Ignitus is being held.
Broods and sulks implies Cinder's not exactly
why don't you go ahead and punch me in the mouth?
happy.
No problem.
Cinder does have a great design. Like, she genuinely does.
Terrador made it sound like this place is uninhabited.
Now what fun would that be? Come on, we've got to take them out.
Yeah, the crystals are as close as we get to level ups. We're eventually going to do Eternal Night. I wish this game, the Legends trilogy, would get the reignited treatment. It really. I do love the names. I do love that they all have names. It's actually. Interesting is, like, some of the names give the impression that they're female apes, but you never get any that are definitively female. But obviously, some of the names imply some of them are female. Okay, let's see here. Let's finish up fire first. Well, once we do. Hello, Riley. What are you doing? He's being small. Okay. Okay, I like that. That's funny.
Here we go.
I do like the names. Okay, there we go. Okay, did not know. Okay. It does give an idea as to what kind of names the... Let's read out over here. Okay, this is trying to use all the powers if possible. Ice is fun. Man, there's a lot of you guys. I mean, this is Cinder's lair, so it makes sense she'd be sending as many apes as she physically could. They're going to be guarded as many apes as physically possible. She thinks she needs bodyguards. Well, she is in the process of draining Ignitus, so it's one of those things where she probably does not want, she really does not want her final thing to be interrupted. Okay. I do kind of wish we'd seen benevolent apes. That would have probably... And in my fanfic, Legend of Spyro New Dawn, I actually did have some benevolent apes show up and explain to a degree why we didn't see any canonically. Okay, can I finish? Yep, there we go. The fury of his final stand, which I think is either a D&D reference or a reference to something else. Let's actually dump a bunch into ice, because that's the element that's kind of fallen a bit to the wayside. So now our fire breath is at its max, which Tolkien wanted neutral orcs but could not figure out a place to put them. Yeah. Because Tolkien did not believe that there could be any like, completely evil race. Like, that's just not something that could happen. To Tolkien. In fact, he didn't even believe... He went on the record and saying that there's no... In Middle-earth, there's really no such thing as pure evil. Like, even Sauron gets described as, I believe, and as near an approach to a purely evil will as is possible. So even Sauron was explicitly not pure evil. People forget that that Sauron actually did have a chance at redemption. He just blew it. Because Sauron could have been redeemed. I believe it was after... I can't remember the name of the top god off the top of my head, but after divine intervention kind of kicked his butt and also prevented him from ever assuming a fair form ever again.
Nice work, big guy. Now for the next one.
Okay, I think that at least gives me someone doesn't need to be pure evil to do horrible things. Yeah. But the point is that Tolkien genuinely felt like pure evil was a thing that objectively could not exist. I believe the fall damage will kill them from here. And I hope it does. Up here.
Almost there.
Okay, let's see. Okay, there's still gems down here I need. Grab. But yeah, like, even, like, that was the thing with Tolkien, is he genuinely believed pure evil was impossible. He definitely believed in evil, just not pure evil. And that's our souped up fire fuel. I do like the apes designs. Okay. The only issue with that is on the little enemies, it kind of doesn't really help. I do not like these big guys. Well, actually, maybe this is actually.
It's okay. We can try again.
On the bright side, I get to collect those, which is good. Okay,
Done
there we
and
go.
done.
Yeah, let's ice some more. And yeah, I gotta jump down here and collect this and then climb all the way back up, but it's kind of worth it. But yeah, I've said it before. I feel like this is one of those games that I really wish would get a reignited treatment. Let's finish this guy off first. Yeah, I think our HP goes up every single time we... every single time we level something up. I'm not sure if we'll have enough to get our ice breath level up in time. Okay, these are new. Okay, there we go. Okay. That's you down. Alright, there we go. Okay, there we go. Now in the next game, now in Eternal Night, we had to be more careful because instead of the jewels, well, I think the jewel instead of the jewel system, there's there's collectibles that level you up, and that's in both the sequel and both sequel games. So you got to be careful on that. And we now have. Okay, there you go. That was probably overkill. Okay, I keep messing up.
Can't talk. Heart breaking out.
Come on. Ignitus is waiting.
I mean, if there's one thing to have a sudden surge of terror against, that would be Cinder. Okay. I mean, I think that's kind of the point, is he was fairly confident in himself before encountering Cinder. So in that case, I think it makes sense. Oh, cool, I get this kind of electric aura around me. As a result of it being like the upgraded, supercharged version of the Fury. The one thing to remember is there's some indication that there's a fan theory that all 3 generations of Spyro take place in the same universe. Just very distantly related to, like, distant time periods. So, if that is true, this is technically either Spyro's classic Spyro reincarnated, or a descendant of his. And that would also apply to Skylander Spyro. I think Death Battle actually covered that fan theory, which is interesting.
Spark! Look! The gate's losing power!
Okay, do I collect all? I think there's actually another. jewel here? No. Okay, no, it's that jewel right there. I don't know. But yeah, that's like a fan theory, which gets some support from the Skylanders comics. Long story short, Skylander Academy, Spyro, and and the IDW comics are different continuities. Because in the show, Malfoy is a very different character than he is in the comics. In the comics, he's much more serious, but he also alludes to a confrontation with Spyro and Cinder that from their perspective, never happened. Which people have taken to imply that he's actually the same Malfoy. So there's implications that might be the case, that all three Spyro generations are set in the same universe, just so far apart from each other that no one's aware of it. If that were the case, that would mean this Spyro's, rather than a reboot or alternate version, this Spyro would be either like the descendant of the original, of the classic Spyro, just unaware that he is. Which is an interesting concept. I do not like the big guys. I also don't like that their shockwave attack actually waits for you to land.
Let's keep trying.
What direction am I going? Is this? Nope, it's this one. That's. But yeah, that's an interesting thing. And it's a fan theory that it seems like there's at least some official support for being somewhat true. Okay. So yeah, if you're annoyed by the fact that this Spyro doesn't seem like classic Spyro personality-wise, I think that fan theory might be for you because it means this technically is not the same Spyro. Which I kind of like the fan theory myself. Also, take notes that according to that fan theory is true. It means that they're set so far apart from each other as to not be that no one in the universe knows that's the case. Unlike, you know, other distant sequels I could mention that started out saying that and it would have been perfectly fine, but then they decided to turn it into a happy ending override that the disaster that destroyed the previous setting happened during our main character's lifetimes. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not a big fan of My Little Pony Generation 5. No offense to anyone that is, there's good things, there's definitely good things about it that I do think are good. But just the more it tried to connect itself to Gen 4, the worse it got. Which is why I say that if that is the case with the three Spyro continuities, I don't mind it because, again, they're so far disconnected from each other. Okay.
Her architect must have been a beauty.
Just 1 second here. But yeah, that's just something I find interesting, that fan theory. Like, I think, I think we're almost to the final boss, so I think there's like one, oh, okay, you guys. Oh wait, I can just do this. Okay. Maybe one of our last chances to level up. I'd like to have at least all 3 of my elemental breaths fully. Okay. So we at least have all 3 of our breaths fully upgraded now. I don't know what this thing is. Okay, let's just do this. Okay, these things do not seem to like fire very much. I wonder if ice has any effect on them. Nope, fire seems to be the go-to for that, for fighting these things. These things do not like fire. Yeah, fire is...
I still don't like it.
Still doesn't matter. Ignitus needs us.
I'm not complaining. I'm just saying it would be easier if she was smaller. A lot smaller.
Yeah, it would be easier if she was smaller. Unfortunately, she is the size of a 747. Not sure if she's actually that big, but she... Fortunately, these guys are easy to deal with. Easily, and I fell to my own death. Okay.
Let's do it.
Okay, it's easier to just do that. Can I reach you? Okay. Does make life significantly easier for me because I can just, yeet you off the edge. Okay, let me check. Okay, nice. Okay, they bounce off walls now. Nice. Okay, that's definitely stronger now. Yeah, I don't really know what this thing is. Okay, there are... Okay, we're just going to go supernova and incinerate everything. I'm feeling things made out of living electricity are probably not vulnerable to, you know, electricity. I wish I'd saved my... I think electricity is best suited for dealing with the Earth did. Okay, there we go. At least Mega Man, you're given you're given Wily Castle stages to all try out your newest toys. Yeah, which this kind of is, but it's still yeah. But yeah, you don't get to fully. I think it's possible to fully upgrade Spyro. I just didn't. Just might have missed some stuff. Okay, go. Then... Because now that the shards are actually upgraded, they're actually significantly better to use. Okay, then here are... We'll say I'm not a big fan of the big guys. The big guys are kind of annoying to deal with. Okay, there we go. Because there we go. Crushing rods of ice will crush anything they come up against. Okay. The shards now do, I guess I do more damage. Yeah, Spyro's in the universe. Spyro's supposed to be really freaking powerful. You know, Purple Dragon of Legend and all that, and the fact that it's expected to be able to defend her. Yeah, in video games, power fantasies make sense because, well, you're supposed to follow. I feel you can do a power fantasy anime well. It depends on how you do it. But you gotta do it the right way. Like, I feel like a lot of isekais or power fantasies done poorly. Especially when the protagonist is unlikable or downright evil. Like, I'm not a big Overlord fan because I genuinely do consider Ainz just a horrible person. And now the show does eventually make it clear he is meant to be a horrible person in universe, but still. Okay, let's do this. You can either make the villain protagonist actually have to struggle, or you can at least make him entertaining. Like, I don't find Ainz particularly entertaining. Because after a certain point, he starts to, like... And the things with a villain protagonist is, to make the audience have their sympathy, you either need to have them be sympathetic, or you have to make them up against worse people than themselves. And the thing is, worse people than themselves can 100% work. Like, that can work. Problem is, they normally make them kind of think they're being clever by making the people worse people than they are, the people who look like they were the good guys, and everyone expected them to be the good guys. That can also work. Like, I believe there's a Power Rangers themed thing that seems to be able to do that decently well. And I could just, attack this, but I feel like blasting it off its hinges with Earth Breath is the cool part. I hate that shockwave attack because it's just really irritating. Okay, there's you gone. I'm not a big fan of fighting these guys, they're kind of irritating.
Be a bit more careful.
But okay, that actually went decently well. And boss fight. Or mini boss fight, because obviously Cinder's the actual boss in this area. Okay, so you can counter his electricity with your own electricity. That's actually kind of cool. I do like the fact you can counter his electric barrier just by using your own electric barrier. Is that... Technically speaking, this guy's a mini-boss. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of Ainz. And okay, it restarts this section of the boss over, that's fine. Okay, you're done. That was like the mini boss guarding her lair. Let's see this. Makes Ainz boring is that he has plenty of people worse than him to crush, but where's the hero opposing? Yeah. Like, I feel like I destroy these before they can go out. Okay, now that I figured out that you can just, that aerial combat is these guys' bane of their existence, that actually makes them a lot easier. I believe we are almost to Cinder now. Let me see. Gotta give them credit for, you know... let's wait until close to 6 before we do, go with that. Depends on how... Because we're almost to the fight with Cinder, so... In fact, I think as soon as we get up to the top of this lift, we're at the fight with Cinder. Close to it. Okay, there we go. Okay. Because we've got about a half hour or so, which if we burn through these remaining enemies quickly, should be enough to defeat Cinder. Oh, well, this is actually significantly easier because I can just yeet you off the edge. Okay. I'm curious. Because it does feel a bit just like padding at the a little bit padding me, but that's. But it does make sense. Like, also this is a shocking amount of security for a villain's lair, honest, all things considered. I think I need to kill you more directly. I might be getting less gems from killing them by fall damage, maybe? Okay, there we go. And I will just say that it's entirely of your own volition if we've, like, reached Cinder at that, at just, like, the 6-minute mark, and you decide, you want to give me a donation to do that. I'm not, like, holding the the completion of the game hostage for a week or something. It's just something, if you want to do that, you can. But again, wait solely until like 6 o'clock. Because obviously if we've beaten Cinder before then, if we're like 5 minutes from defeating Cinder, then that's also a completely different story. Like, let's go. In fact, I think we're almost this once. I think we're right to Cinder. I think. Well, the Cinder is just a cool name.
Spyro. Spyro.
What?
I don't like this. It feels like she's baiting us. I'm getting smarter.
Spyro! Destroy the crystal! Quickly!
Let's get him out of here before Cinder gets back.
If only it were that easy, little one.
And I think this is the first time we hear Cinder speak.
So big.
Time you learned how complicated life can be.
Run!
Yep. Final boss time.
Save yourself!
Not this time. This time I fight.
Bring it.
Of course, at this point, you get the feeling she's not actually trying. She's not using any of her actual powers yet.
Let's do it.
So one thing I noticed about Cinder, and it's my personal headcanon, is you notice how she's the only dragon in the game that has, like, these metal... Okay, there. Got through.
It's so sad it must end this way.
To learn how complicated I can. Yeah, kinda. Like,
Now,
I don't see it as the
where was I?
lazy route necessarily, but I feel like there could have been a lot more done with it. Like, my personal, like, rewrite of the game would have somewhat of a
There was
different...
something in her eyes, Ignitus. Something familiar.
There should be, Spyro. You and Cinder share more than you know. It's time I told you the truth. All of it. You see, after I took your egg to the Silver River, I returned to the grotto to find utter chaos. The other Guardians had been overrun, and all the other eggs had been smashed by the Dark Master's forces. All except one. You see, the Dark Master was torn. He wanted to destroy all the eggs to prevent the birth of the Purple Dragon. But he also needed a dragon.
Why would he need a dragon?
Us, Spyro. Only one born in the year of the dragon could open the portal that served as the Dark Master's prison.
Cinder?
I'm afraid so.
But if we come from the same place, why is she so...
Evil? Monstrous? Big? Sexy? Oops, did I say that?
Because, Spyro, after the night of the raid, she was...
Yeah, it's one of those things that I feel like got lost in the developmental problems of this game.
She's become the Dark Master's monster.
But why? What does this Dark Master want?
He wants to be freed from the portal of convexity, to wreak havoc across the realms. And if Cinder gets there, he just might succeed. I'm afraid we might be too late.
No, I refuse to give up. I'm going to stop Cinder and the Dark Master.
Ooh, wait, you heard the dragon, Spyro. He said, too late. We'll get him next time. Come on, champ. You did a great job, and let's take 5.
No, I'm ready. Now!
Okay, Spyro, you're right. At the very least, you have to try.
So,
If the
here's
Dark
my
Master
headcanon
escapes,
personally.
a shadow will fall over the land. And who knows what will happen then.
So, here's my headcanon that I've always had, and that's that
Look after you.
Cinder is
May they look
Ignitus's
after us
dog.
all.
That it was his... that's always been my headcanon. Because that makes a lot of stuff between the two of them click. But why would he never say that? Well, simply put, the shame that it allowed this to happen.
Between our world and the dark realms beyond. You must stop Cinder before she inserts the final crystal and activates the portal. Free.
Can't remember if convexity is an actual level. It might be a level.
Now I've seen everything.
Yeah, if we don't hurry, I have a feeling you're gonna see a whole lot more. Come on.
Oh, I know, there's her health bar. I do like just how alien this is. Because naturally this is meant to be a very alien area. Hello, weird giant jellyfish creature. You don't put a lock on a prison you never intend to open. No, yeah, that is actually a good point. Well, a lot of things do have that these days. What's up this way? I have a feeling that this was maybe meant to be more than it ended up being. But yeah, round one is Cinder just kind of playing around. But she doesn't even use any of her powers. Which is interesting because I think you have to get up here to glide. I'm feeling there was meant to be more here. Like like I said, this game has been very is unfinished. As this is, if I remember right, this is actually a pretty lengthy final boss. Because obviously she has to have more health bars than the previous bosses. I do like just all the random, weird, otherworldly creatures that are just minding their own business and not an actual threat in any capacity. Okay, final boss time.
My master returns.
We're too late.
Persistent little fellow, aren't you? This is where it
I
really
believe that's
ends.
actually the same VA as Rarity
No
from
mercy this
MLP.
time.
Okay, we're gonna do
I can't
this.
watch this.
Kind of avoiding her attacks via essentially trying to get on her back as much as possible is essentially what we gotta do here. At least for the first phase of the boss. Yep, she started using fire breath now. Okay, phase 1 complete. I need to get a crystal. Okay, she's about... And she threw me off the edge into the pit. Fortunately, we got to phase 2, so...
I think I have the strength to go on.
Yeah, trying to attack her on the ground is just, like, completely pointless. Because she will punish you for that. Now's a good time to smack Crystal for health. I love the fact that this is essentially you having... Okay, that's not good. Essentially you having to climb on her back, more or less, to get the upper hand on her. I don't know how many health bars she has, but I know this isn't actually even the final phase.
Now it's time to...
Oh, you might have actually sent that donation too early, because I think that's actually the finale. I might end up sending that donation back. I thought this battle was long. I genuinely thought this battle was a lot longer, because she only had 3 health... Well, okay, technically she had 2 health bars for the first phase, and then 3 for the second, but the last phase is kind of just a formality. I thought that was long. Yeah, I think I'm probably just gonna send that donation. I genuinely thought that boss fight was longer.
She is just like me.
Dude, we gotta get out of here now.
I can't leave her behind. I've got to save her.
What? Save the beast that's been trying to kill us?
Yeah, that wasn't her fault. She was being used by the
Actually, ZZ, I'll ask you. I can either send you the donation back, or we can do something a little more interesting and me go over something, go over my rewrites of the game.
Now we can go.
I'm right behind you, buddy.
If you prefer me to do that rather than send you back the donation, up to you. Do you want me to do that? So either I can send you back your donation, or you can spend we can spend a good bit of time on my rewrite of the game and what I would change.
Mommy, fluff my pillow.
It's completely up to you. Just
Feeling better, Spyro?
Not really, Ignitus. That battle drained every last bit of my strength. I can hardly
okay.
lift
We'll
my
do that,
head.
and
Yes, it will take some
I can
time
also go
for
into
your
some
powers
thought.
to return. But they will in time, young dragon. They will in time. Cinder.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure you were okay with me doing that, because otherwise, because
It wasn't just you, Ignitus. We all failed.
Be that as it may, we're together again now. Thanks to Spyro. Well done, young
yeah, I
dragon.
can agree with that.
Thanks, Ignitus.
Because there's
we
there's
still
a
don't know what's
large
happened to the
number
Dark
of
Master.
things
No matter, Spyro.
and I'll talk about
It
some
will be time
developmental
to
stuff.
talk of the
How about
Dark
that? That way
Master
you're,
later.
you know,
Now,
you're not getting more gameplay, but you're getting something from
His
it.
success. Hey,
I feel like
what about
that's
me? Just
that's,
because a bunch of weird stuff doesn't fly out of my
but
mouth
it's up to
doesn't
you.
mean I
Like I
help you.
said, if you
Yeah, you
just
were.
write
a
if you want
big
your
help,
donate,
Sparks, no
if you
doubt
want
about
it
it.
back rather than
But
getting a
just for the record,
Kim
A lot of
talks.
weird
But
stuff does come out of that little mouth of yours.
And what the heck is that supposed to mean? You know, I don't need this. I could have stayed with the llama people, whatever, where I was appreciated, but no. No, I decided to help the poor, helpless dragons rid the world of evil. What a mistake that was, because I get no thanks. No respect, no love, no credit.
My goodness. And I thought Voltaire talked a lot.
I left home too, you know. I'm a little guy, yeah, that's right. Maybe you haven't noticed. Things are a lot bigger to me than they are to you. And did I back away? Nah, nah, nah. Why? 'Cause I got moxie. I'm a tough cookie. I got class. I got a little frog in my throat.
now, one thing
As I was
to
saying, untold players can do a
mention
good
with
thing when
Legend
they
of
saw they
Spyro
recognized
as
the
a
value
whole
of
is, like I said,
quality dragonfly like me.
it was a problem
Here I
of
get
budget.
nothing.
Budget was a major
Not
problem
even
with
a
this
thanks.
game,
Hey,
especially
how you doing?
because
Good. Let me buy you a drink.
Activision
I should go
wanted
back to the
to
Mom will make
spend
it
most of the money on
Mommy always does.
celebrity VAs. That's where a large chunk of this budget went. And do the VAs do a great job? Yes. But should that money have gone to the actual game and they got less well-known VAs instead? I feel like yes. But, okay. So, my rewrite of this game. First off, I'll give my just basic thoughts on the game. I love this game. I love the Legend of Spyro trilogy. I complain about stuff. Oh, okay, it was Cree Summer that played her in this game. I know Tabitha St. Germain plays her in one of the games, but I love this game. I love the Legend of Spyro trilogy. I love Spyro as a whole. Like, I just adore the Legend of Spyro. The original Spyro, Skylanders, Legends, I just love it all. I like Reignited. I like Skylander Academy. I love Spyro. Legend of Spyro was my gateway to the series. One of the first fanfics I ever read that wasn't Godzilla was A Legend of Spyro A New Dawn, which is a sequel to the trilogy, and somehow became a fandom genre defining moment. Don't ask how. Like, apparently I inspired an entire fandom-specific plot that exists to this day, and I did not know that. I was just trying to write a cool fanfic where Ember was not demonized, or Cinder wasn't demonized in favor of Ember. Long story. If you were there, you know. But yeah, I love Spyro. This game's still good. It's still a good game. It just falls apart a little in the third act. But so my rewrite. I don't mind that Spyro is drastically different than his original self. I don't mind that. But I feel like you could have inserted a little more of his original edge to him in the early game. Like, have him be a bit more cocky. In a weird way, they kind of decomposited Spyro into Spyro and Sparks. So, but I feel like you could have given him a bit more of his cocky edge at the start before everything. Have him have the cocky edge up until the first encounter with Cinder, which scares the crap out of him. Have that kind of be because he fails to save Ignitus at that point. Have that be his I let Uncle Ben die. You know, the moment where he has that. Because the point of The Legend of Spyro was to be a more serious take on Spyro. That was the point. So you'd want to do that. I actually have a whole movie write-up for a trilogy. Like a whole movie plot summary that I have written up somewhere. But have that be the case. Like for the first 2 acts maybe. I feel the levels work just fine the way they are, but I feel like there is room for, because people do complain this game is too short. Like there are I believe this is clocked in at 5 sessions, and that was me trying to 100% the game. Let me see. Okay, so yeah, that is one problem that people feel about this game, is that it's a bit short, which is probably in part due to the celebrity VAs. So, I feel like if you cut down the celebrity VAs and maybe keep Elijah Wood, but I feel like Ignitus's VA is the only celebrity VA we really needed. Zuzi, I actually sent you part 3 of the script of the trilogy a while ago. I sent it to you already. I'll resend it later, maybe. If you just didn't get it due to messages screwing up. So I'll resend that. I didn't know you hadn't gotten it. But I apologize for that. I genuinely thought you'd gotten it a while ago. But I feel like Ignitus is the only one that really needs to be a stubborn. So, but regardless, I feel there's one problem I have with this game that I feel could have been remedied with just a couple levels. Is maybe between levels, instead of because you get the flying things, and the flying things are fun. They're classic. But yeah, I don't mind short games if they don't feel rushed. I can agree with that. I definitely agree. I feel like a game doesn't need to be a mile long. Oh, post-credit scene. Let's watch this first.
See anything, Spyro?
No. But I've got a bad feeling.
Me too.
Okay, so that's the game. Also, there's extras we can actually look at here. There's an Elijah Wood interview. Not sure we'll watch. I mean, if we want to watch it, we can watch it, but that might be copyrighted actually. But I feel like you could, instead of for the flight sections, it would have helped if you were flying over, instead of just random backgrounds, the war-torn areas and stuff to show the amount of damage that has happened. That might have helped. I like the build-up to Cinder, but I feel like you said, it comes a little bit out of nowhere, the twist that she is brainwashed. I feel there's ways that could have been done better. Like, for example, I feel like you could have had the Guardians drop that bombshell a little earlier, or drop certain hints. Like, for example, have them say that Cinder, no matter what happened, because we hear Terador say that in her lair she broods, like she's brooding and skulking. That implies she's not happy. So, even when she's winning, because she's winning. Like, Cinder is winning. So, I feel like the best thing you could do to rewrite that is to have them drop the bombshell a little earlier. Because there's no reason that, like, that's the weird thing. There's no reason for them not to drop the bombshell, except for the reason that Obi-Wan didn't tell Luke Vader was Anakin. And that's so he won't hold back. Like, that's the only way. And if she was raised from an egg, why would she be under mind control? The Dark Master's POV is that she's right on. That's where I get that. And this would have to go into the future games too. I would have it be that instead of just being corrupted completely, it's more a suppression of positive emotion. And this is what I would put in a movie script also. It's a suppression of positive emotions where she is raised that way, but she's also corrupted in the sense that positive emotions, like, she's basically forced to be a sociopath. That's what I would be. That she's not naturally a sociopath, and they were not able to completely breed that out of her. But she's brainwashed in the sense her empathy and such is suppressed. Her ability to feel positive emotions is suppressed. So she's essentially a sociopath by corruption. So she's still raised that way. She still feels that way. But it wouldn't be the same way. It'd be like, that way when she's purified, she starts to feel these emotions she's never felt before. Including gratitude for Spyro saving her. And because she's never felt these emotions, they hit her harder. So she is essentially, when the corruption's blasted out of her, she reverts back to the mentality of a child. Because the thing is, Cinder is not an adult. The corruption makes her act and look like an adult. But she's still a child. So, when the corruption's broken, that's been stopping her from being that way, you essentially have a scared child who can't process these emotions, and thus is vulnerable to being swayed, when if she had been naturally raised to an adult under this conditioning, she wouldn't be. I feel that's the way you could go about it. I feel that would make sense. Now, how would you portray that in this game? Well, I would have... Because here's the thing, and I feel this was a misstep. Cutscenes in video games are not limited to the POV of the main character. Sometimes they are. Like, in a lot of games they are. Like Pokemon, obviously they are because you're a nameless protag. But, like, in the classic games, we'd get, like, cutaways to the villains. Like, we get cutaways to Ripto turning his minions into monsters, like, powering up his minions to go after him, or planning things to beat Spyro. You'd have this, there's all the scenes with Sorceress in the third game. So Spyro's done cutaways, and then Skylanders always has cutaways, even though in Skylanders, you're the POV character. You're the Portal Master. You're the one in charge. So, there being cutaways. This is the only one that really doesn't have the cutaways. And I feel it's even worse in the second one. So, have cutaways to Cinder. Like, have cutaways to Cinder. And make it clear, more clear. Dark Master intended to abandon her as soon as she served her purpose, or show she is a child in an adult body. Yeah, exactly that. Immature, petty, vicious, childish. Show that. Like, the problem is Cinder only talks in the third act. Like, at the climax. We never hear her talk before that. Yeah, she's built up and she's scary, but we never get a good grasp on her character as Dark Cinder. That's just what I call that form, Dark Cinder. So, yeah, like, make it more clear. Like, have her throw a tantrum at some... Well, no, the problem with having her throw a tantrum is it would degrade from her malice. I mean, from her sense of menace. But you can still have her throw a tantrum that is scary. Like, maybe have Spyro at one point oversee her, basically throw a tantrum at her apes that have continued to fail her and just obliterate them. But it's still scary, but have it portrayed in a way that is clearly immature once you learn what she really is. Like you said, she's a child in an adult body. You can do that. You could even elaborate on it's time you see how complicated life can be. Because have it more clear she's abused, for one. It's implied in the other games she is abused. That she was basically raised, like, we don't see him and that's another thing, like, if they did a reignited trilogy, replace the ape that took the egg, from the temple with Gull, who's the main villain of the second game. Replace him with Gull, because he's meant to be the other second in command. So that's something you would do. But, yeah, have her show signs that she's not as mature as she seems. But also make it clear she's abused. Like, make it clear that this is someone who has never really been happy. Because the fact she skulks and broods in her lair shows she's not happy. And even in the finale, she shows a little bit of sadism, but she never smiles. In fact, and if I'm not mistaken, we never see her smile until the third game, I think. But have it be clear that this is what was done to her was terrible. Because that makes us more sympathetic to her and more understanding. Because this is someone who's never been shown love. I'd make that clear. I'd make it clear this is someone who never once in her life has experienced love. Because the Dark Master does not know it. He is a sociopath. Gull does not know it. We'll get more on Gull next time, but Gull does not know it. So, this is someone that's never been shown love. So just the mere fact of Spyro sparing her life and saving her is an emotion she has never experienced. That is compassion she has never experienced before. So that being something that breaks the conditioning makes perfect sense. Also, have Spyro have dialogue with her during the final boss. Like, even if you just insert a new scene between, like a new cutscene between phases. But just have it be that Spyro tries to reach out to her because now he knows she's a victim. I feel that would add a lot to it. I feel like having scenes with Ignitus after he's captured would add to it. Especially because Ignitus knows. Ignitus knows what Cinder is. Like, he knows she's a corrupted... she was corrupted and turned into this against her will. So, have those cutscenes be there. Have those moments be there where we get an insight into Cinder's character. Because if there's one complaint I have about this game, Cinder's menacing. She is a menacing villain. She is scary. She is intimidating. But she only probably gets you can probably count the number of lines she gets on two hands. She does not get a lot of screen time or lines. And I feel that is a writing fumble because of what she's meant to be. I get it, they want to save her for the climax. They want to save her till the end of the game. But this is not D&D, where if you throw the final boss at the party meet the final boss in the second act, they might kill the final boss ahead of time. That's not how D&D works. I mean, that's not how the video games work. So that's one thing I think they should have done, is given Cinder more screen time and given more insight into the fact she's a child in an adult body. And flesh out the corruption. Have the corruption be something that's repressing her positive emotions. Not only has she never been given love, she had the ability to feel it taken from her. She had the ability to feel, have that be what corruption is, that it is her being overwritten by this corruption. Have it be that her positive emotions are dampened. She, like I said, she's a artificial sociopath. And when the spell is broken, she suddenly can feel these things, but she has no context for them. And her first thing after she's been freed from this corruption and can finally feel these positive emotions is Spyro saving her life. And she does not understand why. She does not comprehend why Spyro would ever save her. And I feel like that is a good starting point for her redemption arc. Because at that point, yes, she still has conditioning, and because we don't see any of this, I can say it in this one rather than the sequel, include scenes of Spyro bonding with her and her still teetering. And this would be at the start of the second game, probably. But have her have scenes where she's still teetering on the edge. So the Dark Master discards her once he loses an investment in artificially aging and powering her up. That's another thing to do. Yeah. Have the Dark Master take away the... Well, okay, you'd have to rewrite a lot of the second game to make that work. But... yeah, the Dark Master discards her and loses investment in artificially aging or empowering her. Or alternatively, have it be that he just sees her more as a possession than a person. Like, that's the feeling I always got with the Dark Master and Cinder, is that she's his possession and he sees her as a really good sword he forged. That's how I think he sees her. So, have it be that Cinder... You could have the Dark Master just discard her now that her purpose is served. Or you could have it be that he wants her back no matter what. Have it, instead of the portal collapsing like it does, have the Dark Master be trying to drag her back into it. It'd leave her trapped there. Have it be made clear, it would leave her trapped there. She would be stuck there until the Dark Master's fully resurrected. And he doesn't care. He doesn't care if she's stuck with him and trapped. He just wants her as a tool. He wants her as a trophy. Have that be the implication. And I feel that would really work. Like, have someone point out that if Spyro had not saved her, she'd be stuck in the cage with him. Like, the cage door is unlocked now. The cage door has been unlocked. The Dark Master Spear has been released. But it's still a spiritual cage. So the apes no longer fear her and now want revenge on her rather than be loyal to her once she's no longer powerful. That it was never her own. I like that. I like that idea. That makes perfect sense. Like, that'd be more for the second game, but that makes perfect sense. Because I get the feeling the apes would resent her. Because we get implications the apes covet the dragon's power. They were given emulations of that power with the crystals, because we see them use the crystals to emulate dragon power. But have them, like, they're envious of dragon power, so have them resent the fact there's a dragon above them. So yeah, that would make sense. Have the apes no longer fear her and want revenge now that she's weak. Make it clear they never cared about her. They only cared about her as a super weapon. Because at the core, that is what Cinder is. She is the Dark Master's WMD. She is a living super weapon. That's what she is. That's all she is to the Dark Master, is just his nuke. Like I said, the way I imagine him seeing her is a good sword. He took time and effort into forging. He wants it at least for a wall hanger. He doesn't care about her as a person, but he wants her. She's his. And I feel like that all would have made more sense. And if you gave me the budget and we're going to get to Eternal Night, and I cannot flat out say this, Cinder's wasted in that game. If I were given the budget, Eternal Night would be more like Dawn of the Dragon, where where you have Spyro and Cinder both playable. That is my vision for Eternal Night. You give me all the budget. I can remake Eternal Night as however I want it. Cinder is playable, and she has her own story mode. Like, she has her own separate story from Spyro's that delves into this. That would be my portrayal of that. That would be how I would see that. But as for this game, you'd you could have scenes where apes don't think Cinder is watching and talk bad about her to cover that. Like, have them talk bad about her, have them resent that there is a dragon above her. Make it clear they don't have genuine loyalty to her. They have loyalty to the Dark Master, but they don't have loyalty to Cinder specifically. They have loyalty to her power because she can kill them in a heartbeat. They have loyalty to what she's brought them, like the fact she's basically the WMD that turned the war in their favor. But they don't have loyalty to Cinder as a person. It's like they have loyalty to the Dark Master, and Cinder is basically the Dark Master's sword. It includes scenes of Spyro seeing that. Even have some because here's the thing, the apes would know what Cinder actually is. Like, the apes would know how Cinder was created, and what she is, and how little control over this whole thing she actually has. Or at least Gull does. At least the high-ranking apes would know. The high-ranking apes would be aware of this. So have them be some that allude to the fact she is and what she is. Heck, have some call her a brat. Have some call her, like, a whelp. Like, have them call her things that could be taken as insults, but are actually literal. Like, they're calling her a whelp because she is a child. You can have that. You can have that be the case. You can have... But yeah, that's one big thing I would change. Is just give Cinder more screen time. Give the apes. We're not scared of you anymore, ready to smash her head in for the brother she turned to ashes for failure. Yeah, you could even have that after they come out of the portal and have, like, the Guardians have to save her and Spyro because they're spent. Like, that would make sense. Like, that would be a good scene. Is they get dumped out of the portal. They're all exhausted. Cinder is weak. Can't defend herself. An ape tries to kill her. Spyro actually defends her. But he's exhausted. He's just spent everything. And this is something that's shown in the promos for Eternal Night, is Spyro lost all of his power. He no longer has any power. So have him have her be just utterly befuddled that when at his absolute weakest, Spyro stands up to protect her when she can't protect herself. When he could just run. He could easily just fly off and run and leave her to die. But he doesn't. And the Guardians come and save them. and have him defend her from the Guardians. Because there was actually a scene that was scripted but never animated of the Guardians debating amongst themselves what to do with Cinder. And if they should let her stay at the temple, if they should try to help her. Also, hi, Riley. If they should try to help her. So, have Spyro have to stand up to his mentors and say, this is she didn't ask for this. She was turned into this. Yeah, in another story it would be Karma coming to bite her. But in this story, it's Spyro protecting her. And, have him stand up to the Guardians and say, she didn't ask for this. She was forced to become this. Again, like she was a child that was turned into a monster. Because that's also the thing with Cinder, is she is a child soldier. She's literally a child soldier. Riley is my lady, is adorable. That's what Cinder is. She's a child soldier. So, have Spyro have to stand up to the Guardians to get them to take her in. Because she's powerless now. And have Cinder have absolutely no comprehension of how to process that. She does not understand. Because she was corrupted in the sense she couldn't feel love. She couldn't feel positive emotions. She was never given love. So have it be that Cinder does not understand why. And that's what causes her true redemption, is being shown compassion and love for the first time in her life. Being shown mercy for the first time in her life. And having no context for it, having no ability to feel it. So she doesn't know what to do. She doesn't know how to react. And I feel like that would be significantly more impactful. Excuse me. For Spyro, there's a selfish side to this. He's also a child soldier, made one by fate. He's questioning for his cause, and she's a dragon his age from his nest. Yeah, there is a bit of a selfish thing to it. But the thing is, he's a child soldier by his own free will. He decided to be the hero. Everyone gave him a chance to stop. Cinder never had that choice. Like, if she had deviated from the Dark Master, yeah, she's someone he can form a connection with. Yeah. If she had deviated from anything the Dark Master wanted her to do, he would have cracked the whip. Like, he would have had her, like, I imagine you could, like, as much as you could get away with the game's rating, show that she was never given a choice. Show that this is what she was made to be. Even if she's not completely mind controlled, she never had a choice in what she is. And that is consistent with the Dark Master's character, as we'll see in 3. He's a control freak. He cannot tolerate deviation from what he wants. So, have that be clear. Heck, have a scene where she doesn't want to do something and expects to get beaten with it. And expects to be punished for it. That'd probably be in 2. You'd probably put that in 2, because that would be just like this huge epilogue to the end of this game. But have it be clear that anytime she deviated from what the Dark Master or Gull wanted her to do, she was punished. Have it clear that she has been through horrible things and expects to be badly punished for deviating. She expects that if she is anything other than the Dark Master's monster, or now, and that's another thing. Have it be that's another thing. You could have it be that she's surprisingly submissive at first, compared to what she was, because she's so used to not being able to defy orders. Even if she was top of the food chain. Like, she and Gull are the top of the food chain. The only people she takes orders from is the Dark Master. But to the Dark Master, she is submissive. and have that carry over when she's purified. But then she breaks out. Like, have it be that, make it very clear that Spyro is the first person to ever give her a choice. Heck, you could even have that be the case, that after he stands up to the Guardians, after he protects her from those apes, after all of this, he gives her the choice to stay at the temple. He gives her the choice to try and redeem herself. And she actually takes that, because he's the first person in her life to ever give her a chance. I feel like that could be a really good story. I feel like I love this trilogy. I really do. But I feel like there is such a better story hidden in there. That there is this could have been a much better story. But it was screwed over by Activision. Because they had grand plans for this trilogy. They really did. Okay, so we know there's unused music. There's unused voice lines for Cinder. That were never used. There's actually a lot of unused voice lines for Cinder. I'm actually curious. Now I'm gonna have to look those up, because I've actually never heard those. Yeah, so yeah, okay, so some of the voice lines were her being much more mocking and sadistic, but do actually allude to the childish nature of it. Like, okay, so they actually do allude to her being more childish, because she makes these kind of childish insults that almost sound like apparently during the chase she would have said stuff like, "Oh, surely you're not that slow, are you? That's as fast as you can go." Kind of those childish insults. So it seems like that they actually did think of that. Standing up to his masters would shock her, and shock her more that they listen and don't punish Spyro for being daring to talk back. Yeah, exactly that. It does seem like a lot of the cut voice lines they intended for Cinder were childish. So that does seem like something that was on their mind. But yeah, seeing Spyro stand up to his masters, that would shock her, and that he's not punished for daring to talk back. That would shock her. And here, like I said, I would have the corruption be like forcing her to be a sociopath. She has never felt these emotions before, and thus she has no defense against them. She has no psychological defense against these emotions. She's never felt scared. She's never felt gratitude. She's never felt compassion. She's never felt relief. And she's never been given a choice. So seeing Spyro do all of this to protect her, something her mind cannot grasp because she's never been shown love. She's never been shown compassion. That is something I feel Spyro could have been really good. Just have that be what changes her, is Spyro being the first person in her entire life to show her compassion, to show her friendship. I feel like that would have been a more compelling story. But yeah, looking at it, there were scrap voice clips for Cinder that would have made her a bit more childish, which fits, because she is a child. Yeah, there's unused music. There are weird changes with the GBA version. There are unused animations and cinematics in the game's code. In fact, let me see. There's actually a cutting room floor for this. Okay. Let me see. There's debug okay, debug, I don't really care about that in this case. Okay, there was apparently a level select intended. That's interesting. I did not know that. So yeah, there was originally a level select, which would have been interesting. There was New Game Plus. There was originally meant to be New Game Plus. It looks like. Yeah, so that's interesting. There was a fast forward cutscene function. There was a hidden cheat menu. That was never used. There are unused graphics that tell that there were probably other names this went through first, like a prototype logo that says Spyro Quest and Spyro A Hero's Tale, which I believe was the name of a previous game. And being told the origin she knew her whole life is a lie, that she wasn't rescued from the hatchery, she was a spare because she was needed. Yeah. She was spared because she was needed. Yeah, have that be the case. Like, heck, have when they go back to the temple, they have not been able to clean it up yet completely, and have her see the rest of their clutch, what was done to them. Like, have it be shown what happened. Like, that would make sense. Let's see. There's unused music, of course. There's not, some of the stuff is just not very big stuff, but it's noticeable. But yes, there was a lot of cut content for this game because of that. So yeah, that would be great. Heck, I even accept a fan-made Legend of Cinder game that takes place during this, that showcases all of this. Honestly, that'd be great. Fans, get on that. That is right there. If I could code, I would want to see that. A Legend of Cinder game that shows this stuff, that has her this. There's this large portion of the game of the timeline between the end of this game and the beginning of the next game, where very clearly stuff happened. Roll with that. And show what Cinder was doing in Eternal Night off screen. So go do that. There's so much you could do. There's so much you could do. Cinder has so much potential. But yeah, do that. Just do that. It would be so cool. And I have always envisioned this scene of Cinder being torn between her loyalties. Spyro's asleep, prepared to, just looming over him, prepared to do the Dark Master, part of her wanting to do the Dark Master's will and just kill him. You should take the speech, edit it, and post it with gameplay as a separate video. I would if I had time. Unfortunately, I don't really have time. I might try to do that at some point, but I would be re-recording, and it would be more coherent thoughts. Because this is just, off the top of my head. But I might try to do that at some point. But I might try to do that with my Legend of Spyro movie write-up. But there's so much you could do with Cinder. Cinder is such wasted potential. Because she doesn't get to be a main character until the third game. And the third game was torpedoed because, long story short, Activision decided, you know, we're going to give this to a completely different company that doesn't really know what they're doing, and that's why why Cinder suddenly is purple, even though she's not supposed to be. So, yeah. Also, have someone mention that Cinder's not even the type of dragon she's supposed to be. She's not supposed to be a black dragon, she's supposed to be a wind dragon. Like, that's something the creators confirmed. Cinder is supposed to be a wind dragon. That is what her natural element is supposed to be. So, have that be brought up, that she's not even the type of dragon she thinks she's supposed to be. And I've always envisioned that the metal blades she has, while they're magical and just grow with her, aren't her natural blades, because we never see another one with metal blades. And that they were like augments that were forced on her. But back to the previous thing. I've always had this very vivid image of Spyro sleeping and Cinder, when they're both children, looming over him, torn between her loyalties, preparing to do what the Dark Master would want and stab him, but being unable to go through with it. Because she has come to realize how wrong how she was raised was, and she just can't do it. And that being a motivating factor for her leaving the temple. I've always felt like that would have been a really, really cool scene. And it's just an image that lives free in my head. That would be such a cool image. Like, and there's just... And the thing is, we know from the third game that... And the thing is, Cinder's boss fight is kind of disappointing. Like, the boss fight with her is kind of disappointing because it feels like there's an entire phase missing. Which might be why I thought the fight was longer than it is. I feel like there's an entire phase of that boss fight that's just not there. Because as we find out in the third game, Cinder has multiple elements. Like, she has her natural wind, but she has the shadow fire that she uses. She has poison, she has fear, which, okay, I guess the screen distorting kind of could be fear. But obviously they didn't have that in mind when they were making this game. But that would have been cool. Like, I want to see, why is there not a fan-made animatic of that? Like, why is there not, like, a fan-made animation of this fight? Like, there's plenty of Spyro and Cinder animations, a lot of which are just cute. Are just cute, little, wholesome stuff of them being cute together, which is something I like. But no one's ever, like, reanimated the boss fight, which is kind of strange to me, because, like, okay, there's a reanimation of a scene from 3. Okay, that... But there's no animation of, like, the boss fight. A reanimation of the boss fight. And I feel like that's something I wish we got. Okay, there's, like, one animation of Spyro and Cinder fighting, but it's, like...
Well, you've defeated
PS4 graphics, which is fine. Like, I mean, not PS4, PS1 graphics, which, you know, good on you. You animated that yourself. I have no problem with that. I just wish that there were more animations of that, because I feel like there's an entire animation, like an entire epic animation you could do of just that. So, I feel like there's just a bunch of stuff that is missing from the game. And it's missing purely because of budget problems and developmental problems. That is the reason that stuff's missing. But I feel like there's an entire separate game that could have been made. Like there's an entire, like you could make an entire Legend of Cinder game out of the missed opportunities that the game, being as unfinished as it is, represents. Because there's we don't know what Cinder's doing throughout 2. I'm just going to say that. We're going to do 2, but we don't know at all what Cinder is doing throughout 2. And that's something that they need to do. They need to affect that, someone needs to make a Legend of Cinder and just go through all this awesome stuff you could do with her, because she's a good character. I love Cinder. She's a cool character. But there's so much missed potential with her. She could have been an even better character than she is. But unfortunately, due to the issues in production with the game, she doesn't get to be. And Skylander's Cinder is a good character, like an Academy version. She's a good character. But she's a different Cinder. Especially if we take the timeline thing where the fan theory that all 3 take place in the same timeline but thousands of years apart. So she's not the original Cinder. But I love that version of Cinder. She's not the same character. I see that Cinder as what this Cinder would be if she was actually raised with love. Because her raising in there, she's still raised by an evil person, but he's an evil person that actually cares about her. So I see that version of Cinder as what this version, as a what if for this version. The version of her that was raised with love and compassion. But there's so much you could do with Cinder. And if we get a Spyro, because if they make a new Spyro game, I hope Cinder comes back, and I hope they explore the potential the character has. Because she has so much potential. She has a ton of potential. She's a cat. She's our kitten. She's our baby cat. That's what we call her, the baby cat. Why did Malfoy didn't have Strike or Corrupt? Actually, they didn't see her as a slave. Yeah. Legends, Skylanders, is a different continuity, and that version of Cinder, like I said, I see her as the version that was given love and raised relatively normally. So I get a feel, in that what if, Legend Cinder would be more like that Cinder if she was raised normal. There's also some interesting what ifs of what if Cinder was the one, if Spyro was taken by Malfoy instead of Cinder. That's a what if that we get. It'd be a what if that would be a major uphill battle because she'd just be a wind dragon. But it'd be an interesting uphill battle. I've seen there's a bunch of what ifs. There's a bunch of what ifs you could do. But I love The Legend of Spyro. I love Spyro in general. And The Legend of Spyro: A New Beginning is a good game. It's a fun game. This is a very fun game. It's basically a beat 'em up. And it's a fun beat 'em up. I like that you don't have finite lives. You have infinite lives, so you can just retry again and again. And I'm fine with that. Spyro's meant to be really powerful. But I get the feeling that we were robbed of something really epic by Activision's greed. Because Activision did not give this game as big of a budget as they really should have. Yeah, like the studio that made it has essentially said they had a ridiculously low budget. They did not have, and most of the budget by Activision's demand was spent on the VAs. So, yeah, that's sort of the issue we have here, is we had the potential for something monumentally great that was squandered by Activision's greed and penny pinching, and them not wanting to give 100% to a franchise that was one of their most beloved ever. And of course, once we do Eternal Night, I will most likely do another one of these sort of things. Maybe. Because I have ideas. I've been wondering about the Legend of Spyro trilogy since they came out, because this was my intro to Spyro. And another thing I'd like to see is like a Spyro Generations where the 3 Spyros end up teaming up. Like Sonic Generations with Spyro. That would be cool. I'd like to see that. But I've got to go feed a cat, and I hope you feel this was worth your donation, because I genuinely thought the final boss was longer. So I hope you're satisfied with this extra time, and that you feel your donation was well spent. But I do have to go feed our neighbor's cat, and I got other stuff I need to do. So thank you guys for coming. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, like, comment, subscribe. See you guys next time. Bye! I still don't have a catchphrase.